possibly be a secondary contender for the heavyweight division.
Agreed.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah. Anyway, so do you want to steer a little bit away from UFC now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Since we're towards the end of the podcast, there's one thing that's been on everybody's minds this weekend, and that was when Wanda Vision, season 1, 2 episodes were dropped on Friday. I don't even know where to start. Like, what? I was for 2 hours. I was just like, what's going on? What are they trying to prove? What are they trying to do?
I was really I thought I was watching Bewitched or something.
Yeah.
That's what it's set. It's set on. It's set on the 1970s Bewitched shows, and
we reviewed the trailers like months ago, like right up in the early days of the podcast. We were reviewing the trailers, and I just said, "Mate, it's so weird."
It's set up like its own little pocket reality, and it's set on like all different shows. It's almost like a Truman Show, right?
Yeah.
Different reality, and then you can see there's people looking in, and there's like a radio, and it's got little Easter eggs here and there. Like, you know, it showed the little advert where it was the toaster. When they pressed the toaster, it was the sound of the Iron Man like repulsor thing, and and they said, "Oh, it's brought to you by Stark Industries."
And there was also the watch that was Strucker's.
And it had the Hydra thing on it.
Yeah, and Strucker was the name of the scientist that performed experiments on Wanda, and what was her brother's name?
Oh,
Maximoff twins.
I usually just call him Quicksilver, but it's not really. It's not in the X-Men MCU part, is it?
No. Well, he's in.
Petro. Is it Petro?
Okay, hold on. I think it's Petrov or something like that. Yeah, hold on. God, I'm using my phone.
But they had a few things like a few jokes like, oh, that's just the Sokovian.
Petro, yeah.
That's just the Sokovian greeting. They had a few Easter eggs here and there. I just thought it was fucking weird because each episode's they kind of figure out something like something's not quite right. Like, oh, how did we meet? Oh, I don't know when we meet. When was our anniversary? Oh, this can be our anniversary. It's very strange what little... It's almost like a dream. It's almost like they're set in a dream. You know when you're in a dream, things are weird, but you just, for some reason in your mind, you're like, it's always been like this. Your mind accepts things, right? So it almost seems like it's a dream reality or a dream state that they're in, and that some people are trying to look in and watch in and maybe even intercept them and be like, hey, you're actually, you know, you're not supposed to be here and things like that. It's a bit weird because now it's set off on a cliffhanger where they've actually had a kid, and then it goes into color and it's set in like maybe the 1980s. Yeah. It's weird how each episode it keeps transitioning through time and things like that.
Yeah. Well, let me just start by saying it's all these like reviews about it. Oh, it's amazing, it's awesome, it's best TV show. I'm like, no, it's not. It's actually quite poor for a fucking Marvel TV. I don't stand in the Marvel sets. I'm not think it's bad. Terrible, but I'm saying it's a bit sleazy. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's poor. I think it's just it hasn't really grabbed our attention with anything in the first. And it's not its normal action packed thing. It's almost very like quite weird and a bit different. Yeah. And they're trying other things out new, but they haven't really dropped anything that has piqued our interest, anything like that.
Well, the only thing that sort of got my attention was in the end of the second episode. Spoiler alert, don't care if you haven't watched it. It's been 48 hours. When that beekeeper dude just comes out of the sewer, and then Wanda just goes no, and then all of a sudden they reverse back time.
Yeah.
So is Wanda like controlling the present? Or
it's
something?
like her pocket reality. It's almost like a dream where you'll lucid dream and you can change a few things. You don't like that? The nightmare's about to happen. I'm gonna change things. So that's what she's doing. And then it's a dream state where like, well, we haven't had a kid, and then boom, she's like fucking about to pop. She's like in her third trimester. And then like all the color starts to come in. Like there's a few things where color is like there's that helicopter. She touches the helicopter and it's the only thing that's color. And then later in the episode, everything starts to transform to color. They've got kids. They've got a different life. It's weird because there's little different Easter eggs. It's just, I don't know what to make of it yet. I believe that it's weekly episodes now, and I'll still watch the show, but it hasn't really piqued my interest yet. It
It's
hasn't.
a very, very poor start.
It's quite a slow start, to be honest. I don't know how many episodes are supposed to come out. But it's very slow. Yeah. It's very, very slow.
Because do you remember when season 2 of The Mandalorian started, the first episode, how killer that episode was?
Yeah. Well, they usually try and pick your interest right away. And when they drop...
that's what you need to do in TV shows.
When they drop 2 episodes, I assumed that these were going to be 2 massive episodes. Yeah. And that was really going to hook you in. Whereas...
they don't.
Both episodes were very similar in the fact that nothing really happens. Yeah. They're just kind of... You know, they're taking inspiration from different, like, Bewitched and all these different other shows. It's a bit weird how it all has been put together. I don't know. The one thing that I found that was interesting was her friend Agnes. Yeah. Her friend Agnes, apparently there's been theories that she could be Agatha Harkness, which is a witch in the... she's a witch in the Marvel comics. Okay. And so she makes a lot of stuff saying like, oh, you can just whip this up like magic and things like that. It's almost like she could potentially be a witch herself, and she could maybe be the villain that could be in this pocket reality. I'm not too sure. Because we do see at the end of each episode, we see it fading back. We see fake credits rolling, and we see someone sitting at a desk. There's a roadcaster at the desk. Did you notice that? Yeah, there's a road. That's cool. Yeah. And then it shows a screen where there's 2 waves. One's red, one's green. And some people said, well, does that mean maybe there's 2 people in a simulation? And that one of them is Vision and one of them is... It's just weird because why is also... why is Vision there when he died? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's all very weird. We don't really know what to make of it yet. It hasn't really grabbed our attention that much, but I'll still watch it. I'm still interested to know where this leads. It's just, it started off very slow and very